better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. Oh, he's making a list and he's checking it twice. He's gonna find out who's naughty or nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. Oh, he sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Oh, you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus, he is coming to town.
Welcoming one and all to the second Lucky Dip, brought to you by Homeopathysoftware, Mind Technologies Private Limited. This is all brought to you by Dr. the one and only Dr. Jawahar Shah. So, my dear friends, today we just don't have one Lucky Dip winner. We've got lots of fun game activities to be done. Come on, Christmas is a season of love, peace, joy, care, happiness. So why not just de-stress for the next 30, 40 minutes, have some fun, win some prizes in return. Okay, and to start with, we've got a 40% off going on all our products. That's in Zomeo, Zomeo Ultimate, and on our premium courses. All you got to do is buy any of our products worth $250 minimum, and you enter the Lucky Dip contest. Apart from that, you can see the dates where we're going to have our Lucky Dip. You know, this is our second one being the 21st, and we've got it on the 28th, 5th, 12th, 19th, 26th, and on the 31st of Jan. 3 mega Lucky Dip winners. That's what we have. Now, we've also got a contest running. It's very, very simple. It says Christmas is a season of love, peace, joy, care, and happiness. So let's spread the joy this season. And how do we do that? Very simple. You know, you just have to sing a Christmas carol, upload it on your social media account, tag us on, tag us at Homepath Social on Instagram and Facebook. If you're not on social media, you could always write to us at support@homepath.com. So that's all, folks. And before we get into our session today, there's a small activity right now that I'm going to share with you. Firstly, I just announced that the first 5 individuals to switch on their videos, there is a spot prize for them. I already have 3 winners. That's Mr. Richard Derry, Dr. Sashikant Kudoli, and Dr. Mansoor Shafi. Dr. Mansoor Shafi, where are you from? Which country?
I am from Pueblo, Colorado, United States.
Oh, that's great. Good. So we've got somebody from Quebec, somebody from the US, and someone from India. Come on, the rest of you. What are you waiting for? You've got 2 more applications to be won. I don't want to take them home. Santa Claus doesn't take his gifts back home. Okay, let's move on to the first activity for today. You could either, unmute yourself and give me the answer, or you could put it in the chat. I would prefer if you put it in the chat box. Okay, but you need to keep your video on as well. All right. My first question to you is Thank you, Michelle. Michelle, it's good to see your face behind the name. All right, there you go. So now we're all opening up a little bit. I need to see at least 10 more windows open. See, the world connects and we all come really close. There you go. So my first question, you have to put it in chat and give me an answer, is what is, thank you, Marlis. What is Santa Claus's real name? Put it in the chat, put it in the chat option. Right, let's see who wins this one. Dr. Sneh, you need to make a note of whoever's giving me the answers. Chris, I'll give you a hint. It's Saint what? Saint what? No, it's not God and Marcel. Saint Nicholas, that's Anna. Anna is the winner. Anna S. Anna, which country are you from? You can unmute if you don't want to keep your video on. It is Saint Nicholas. Anna, if you could tell, you're from London. All right, there you go. So we've got our first winner. That's Anna. My next question to you is, come on, we all know him. Who is the main reindeer? There's a carol on a reindeer. Name the reindeer. There's a carol on a reindeer. Who is it? Oh, Rudolph. And that goes to Michelle. Michelle is our winner. Michelle, you're really quick with this one. So the winner is Michelle. Okay. Now this is, you need to put on your thinking cap. Okay. It's an open question to all of you. Name any 5 things associated to Christmas. You're going to write it all together and then hit enter. Any 5 things associated to Christmas. Write it all together and then click enter. I'm watching. Okay, there you go. Any 5 things. All right, okay, 1, 2, 3. Michelle, you're quick. You are really quick. And I'll give it to Richard as well. She says, angel gifts, Jesus, star. You've got me hungry by saying cookies, unless you want to send some to me all the way. There you go. Yes, Petronella, you'll get this one as well. Trees, decoration, presents, family, and angels. Yes, absolutely. Angel Gabriel, that's what we remember. Jesus, tree, Santa, bells, and stars. Shashikant, yes, thank you. Okay, star or end, Muhammad Akhtar. I didn't know what that meant, but yes, stars. Yes, that's what we've got. So we've got all these winners. Just after this session, you will get your gifts. What are the gifts? You're getting mobile applications. We've got a lot of apps like Myasms, Pediatrics. They're chargeable, but Santa doesn't charge you for his gifts. You're going to get them absolutely free. Okay. What do we do next? All right. Now, this is a challenge. This is a challenge to anybody right here. I've got a tongue twister, which I'm going to share with you. Okay. And all you have to do is, try to get the tongue twister right in one go. If you fumble, you're out. So if you get it right in one go, you'll get a webinar complimentary. And these are Dr. Jawahar Shah webinars. Can't get better than that, right? Dr. Jawahar Shah webinars. He's delivered one of the best webinars, in the globe today. So just raise your hand if you would like to participate in this. We'll have, at least 3 people trying to compete. We're just done with the Football World Cup, right? We had people from various countries here. Let's see who's the winner right here. So I'm just going to share my screen with you, if I may. Ta-da. Okay. There we go and share. Okay. So anyone who'd like to go first? Anybody? Just put your name in the chat so that I know you'd like to go. Richard, you want to try? Is that what you said, Richard? Is it Michelle, Marlis, Mr. Kulwant, Valerie, Larissa, Anna? Come on, you just got to go off audio and start reading this. Okay. Come on, who'd like to go first? Richard, okay, why don't you try?
Betty bought some butter, but the butter was bitter. So Betty bought some butter, butter to make the butter.
All right, you were close. You were 60% right. Dr. Mansoor, you raised your hand. Yeah, why don't you try? You're on mute, sir. Yeah.
Betty bought some butter, but the butter was bitter. So Betty bought some better butter to make the bitter butter better.
Oh, I need to clap for this, man. This was amazing. You got it right in one go. Dr. Mansoor Shafi, all the way from the US. So I've got one winner. I can get 2 more. Come on. Somebody wants to try. Some lady? Somebody? Larissa, why don't you try? Yes, Larissa, you raised your hand.
Hi.
Hi.
Betty bought some butter, but the butter was bitter. So Betty bought some better butter to make the bitter butter better.
And you were better. You were better whilst you actually said this. So we've got two winners. We had Dr. Mansoor Shafi. We had Larissa as the winner as well. Anyone else wants to try this? One last chance. You can write your name in the chat option. Paul Bowman, my friend, you want to try? He's recently got Zomeo.
Sure, I'll try.
All right, Paul, there you go.
Betty bought some butter, but the butter was bitter.
Okay.
So Betty bought some better butter to make bitter butter better.
Bingo, Paul, you hit the nail on the coffin. There you go. Yeah, that's absolutely right. You know, they say practice what you preach. So if I don't get it right, I don't have the right to tell you to get it right. So let me try this without looking, okay? So Betty bought some butter, but the butter was bitter. So Betty bought some better butter to make the bitter butter better. There you go. I think I got it right. All right, thank you. Okay, one more before we get on to Marcelo's session. Okay, this is easy. I want somebody else to try this. Let me say it once. She sells seashells on the seashore, but the seashells that she sells are not the real seashells, I can tell you for sure. Come on, who'd like to try this one? This is somebody. Raise your hand, come on. I can't see you, but if you put it on chat. Anyone? Anna raises her hand one more time. She wants to win one more prize. Anna, I like your enthusiasm. Why don't you try this, Anna?
Unless you want to have a laugh. She sells seashells on the seashore, but the seashells, what she sells, are not the real seashells. I can tell you for sure.
You were very close because I didn't read any word what there, but yes, you were 85% there. Okay. Yes, Richard, you'll go again. I'd love to see that enthusiasm in you. Come on. Why don't you try?
She sells seashells on the seashore, but the seashells that she sells are not the real seashells, I can tell you for sure.
Ah, there you go. Richard's got this one right. Richard, I clap for you, man. Richard's always participating. Michelle, you want to try this one? Yelena, Emily, Petrinola, Stewart, Mr. Lalit Mishra. Any one of you would like to try? The one with the nice DP. Come on, one more. I have one more spot prize to be given.
Dr. Mansoor raised his hand.
All right, sir. Come on, one more prize for you. Dr. Mansoor from Colorado.
She sells on the seashore, but the seashells that she sells are not the real seashells, I can tell you for sure.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. That was nice. If someone really struggles with this, that's definitely not a stammer. Any remedy that you would recommend, as you've got so many homeopaths, if someone can't get this right? Okay. All right, friends. Now I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Marcelo Garzon. Marcelo is a practitioner in homeopathic medicine located in Richmond Hill and the GTA. His treatments include homeopathy, nutrition, and herbal medicine. Marcelo, these are his contact details. And through the session, he'll be, sharing his insight regarding, a lot of other stuff, and especially about homeopathy in children. So I request all of you to, take a nice seat, and you can watch Marcelo for the next 25 minutes. I hope you enjoyed this small activity that we had, and over to Marcelo. Marcelo, thank you.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Happy day, and thank you for being with us today. I hope this is my screen. So, as Gordon said, I'm here in Toronto, snowy day in Toronto. I am a homeopath, and I work my cases with Zomeo, the best software. So if you still don't have it, you're missing something in your practice. This is my key here. So let's take it away. I want to introduce you a bit of about my philosophy of how I treat patients, children or adults, in the holistically. I will talk a bit about nutrition, and I will share my opinion about the differences between children. And I will talk about my experience in children with spectrum, learning disabilities, ADD, ADHD, and some skin in general. And there is a reason why I'm choosing the skin with the children as well. So in my practice, I have a specialist. She's a nutritionist, and we work together to solve cases. Because Dr. Hahnemann in his organon, he said that we have to consider the diet in the person. And we know today that we have many issues with the food that is brought to us to the supermarkets and the foods that, you know, we cook or we eat out. So as I said, as we believe that lifestyle and nutrition is the key to prevent diseases and to maintain good health. And of course, when you're sick, I am fanatic of homeopathy that will bring the health back to homeostasis. And it's important eventually to keep nutrition and lifestyle in check. So there is something that we're not going to stop doing, okay? It's to eat. Now, I also involved in my practice, although it's not specified in this presentation, but the wise men in Ayurveda, thousands of years ago in India, they gave us so much information about how to prevent diseases. So when we eat, we have to eat the proper food when we are healthy, and especially when we get a bit sick, we have to change the mindset and to eat different foods. And as we know as a homeopaths that we are not the same, so also for eating, we have to keep in mind that not everybody should eat the same as everybody else. And it's important when you have an information and you know this, you know that some foods are not good, and you know that information. So I encourage everybody to share this to the parents of a child, so they are a bit more aware of what's happening with foods and how to help at least the current situation. Later on, you know, they can go and go back to their lifestyle, but sometimes we have to get off some foods from the plate. So we know today that there's a ton of research and studies that as long as we have a mind and we have a gut, they are connected. I mean, yeah, we have the esophagus and just the pipe, but eventually the mind or the brain and the mind and the gut, they are connected. And children are not different than adults, but especially in children who will see that, they have their mindset. Sometimes, you know, they feel too happy, and sometimes they feel very sad, and so on. Now, they eat what they eat in a rush, or they don't eat, and they don't digest properly. And if they are teenagers, so we're talking about smoking, and we're talking about alcoholic drinks in some countries. And when the mindset it's not proper, the digestion it's not going to be proper. Now, it can be the other way around, that we in the mind we feel okay, but something happened to the gut, and if we don't treat it, the gut will affect the mind. Because if a child has a baby, right, has a bloated stomach or achy stomach, so it will start panicky, will start crying, so the mind is going to be upset as well. Now, children, I mean, are all the children the same? Well, I think we know that they are not all the same, as we are human, not the same, so children specifically are not the same. I'm treating children, babies from 2 months old and up to late teenagers, and they're all different. I love treating children because I like children. They're beautiful people, they are funny, they interact, you know, we can learn from children. Now, what happens with babies when they are too young and they don't communicate well? So you have to involve the mother and the father, and especially the mother. I had and successfully treated an amazing case that the child came with a skin issue with a fissure, but when I saw the child, it looked really panicky. It was maybe 4 months old or something like that, and his face was nothing relaxed about. And I always ask questions the mother about her past life, before the pregnancy and during pregnancy and after, right? And she was mentioning to me things about anxieties and nervousness, but especially she told me that she went to deliver the baby, she felt that the baby is coming out, and nobody basically believed her. And she got into the hospital and she did not get the treatment or the attention quick enough. And she went almost deliver the baby in the elevator. And there was a huge panic from her and the mother. Everybody was yelling, everybody was screaming to get some attention. And eventually, okay, the baby was born. But when I got this information of the mother, I take this into consideration about what's happening with the child I see in front of me. Eventually, I gave the child, I think it was arsenicum or aconite, and the child got better. Now, sometimes I have to remind, if you guys forgot, but the remedies for babies, you can give it to the mother if she's breastfeeding, because easily the remedy will get into the breast and to the milk and to the baby. And I saw that a lot. So it's really fun. Sometimes, you can wet his lips with the remedy and water, and they will take it very easily. Now, children, the younger they are, the more organic they are, because they are not exposed as young children or young adults or adults at all. They are not exposed yet to the environment, to the food. So children, should not be sick unless there is a deep heart disease like cancer and other problems. They should not be basically sick unless it's genetic, right? But when we disregard these genetics and other heart diseases, so we have to find in the child what happened during pregnancy, when the mother was, and the baby in the belly, and what happens after that. We have to, it's hard because we have to interrogate a lot the mother and sometimes the father, but I like more the mother to talk to her. She will represent the family in most of the cases. So now young children, it's a bit more fun because you see them playing, you see them coming to you, or give me 5, they talk a lot, or they don't talk and they are shy. And all these things you see, you just document. If they talk too much, it's a symptom. If they kind of hold mom's hand, it's a symptom. But you can see that more easily. Of course, the mother will be a big contributor to the issue. Now, young adults, there's the fun of it, and they're not kind of fun because I am a stranger to them. And although I explain to them what homeopathy is and what the treatment consists of and so on, sometimes they want to keep some secrecy. Sometimes they don't want to talk too much when they are with the parents in front. So I would ask them if they feel comfortable with the parents. And sometimes the parents, they will go out of the room and they will sit outside and wait. And then I can talk to the child and maybe we'll share more information that maybe he doesn't want others to know. So it's a bit more of a challenge. The idea is to let them basically express themselves the way they express themselves, and hopefully you get a good case. Now, in most of the cases, you have to think about the mother. Sometimes I have mothers that come and I don't think it's the child needs help, it's more than the mother that needs help. But it's case by case, and that you discuss with the mother or the parents in a proper way, of course. So none of us are the same, and especially not children. Now, I treated quite a few children on the spectrum or not yet declare that they were on the spectrum. And some of them very, very vivid. You see them on the spectrum, you see how they scream, not necessarily crying, but yelling and screaming. Or I had the opposite, that staring, they just, sit and watch something and there is nothing there. Hitting objects. Now, my get-go when I treat children in the spectrum is that if they are panicking or if they are crying, they are under certain amount of pain and they cannot express themselves. They cannot put a finger, it's a headache or it's a belly ache. They cannot. So we have to assume there is some of kind of pain. And you have to look at the hands, if they're touching too much the head, or they're touching too much the ear or some part of the body. Maybe it's an idea to explore that there is pain in that location. I had a child that he was really, really happy and running and non-stopping and jumping, and he's autist or in the spectrum. And while I'm talking to the mother, she was telling me how difficult it is for her to go every morning to work because he doesn't want to give her away, right? And he's suffering, and he was staying with the father. The father was basically at home, and he was having a bad time with the father. And she would come back home, and he will be happy, but he cannot let go of the mother. And after more symptoms I got from the mother, I decided to give Lacanino. And it took a while, but eventually the child became more relaxed. He still was in the spectrum, and he still was not communicating much, but he let everybody live. He was independent. He was playing. The mother can go back and forth in or out the house, and he was happy in his way. A case of agaricus that was very interesting, amazing success, and it took only maybe 2 months with 30 C of agaricus of a child. He was about 10 to 12 years old, something like that. And in school, apparently he's okay with the friends, and the friends are coming home. And he's not sure if he's on the spectrum, but at home he doesn't communicate with the parents. He's staying there, watching the TV, where the parent says there is nothing really in the TV, something to watch, but he's staring there. When the friends are coming, he's communicating with the friends, and eventually studies, learning was an issue. Eventually, agaricus, in maybe a month or two, he started talking to the mother, asking questions and sharing his experience in school. The mother was more than extremely happy. That was a happy moment for everybody, that you can see a change, because again, children are more organic. The homeopathic remedies will act on the children's body very, very quickly, and they absorb it without any issues. So in that aspect also, you have to be mindful and careful, because you don't want to keep giving the remedy if the child started to react well, because otherwise you don't want to start getting into aggravation, especially with children. I have another case of Barita carbonica, that the child about 4 years old, and it's not in the spectrum, but the mother thought it is. I put it here under this slide, but his vocabulary very, very poor. The kindergarten teacher was saying that he was not collaborating too much with the children. He was aside a bit. Sometimes he wanted attention, but he could not express himself because he didn't have words, and he did not understand too much about what he was told. And at home, the mother was basically confirming what the school was saying. And Barita carbonicum, it took maybe a month, and then the mother wrote me a letter about how well the change in the son is going. And I saw him a few weeks ago just to say hi, and he was talking and he was answering the mother questions. So it was fantastic to see that. Now, at all times when I talk mind issues, mindset, I emphasize, think about food, think about what to remove. It's important what to remove from the food, and I will talk a bit more in the next few slides. I'm treating a lot, unfortunately, but this is what it is for the last, I don't know, 20 years or so, about ADD, ADHD, and learning disabilities. And this is kind of more, it's easier, in my opinion, to treat. And this is what I'm trying to convey the public in general, that these issues can be treated very well in homeopathy. And I'm trying to coach the parents about how to basically work with homeopathy in cases of learning disabilities or ADHD and stuff. Now, this is easier because you can see more of the symptoms. It expressed from the child. It will tell you, I cannot focus, I'm reading and it doesn't come in. And and then they start crying, or in school, it doesn't matter what they do, they have difficulties. So you can see that, and it's really easy to get a case. Again, food, it's sugars and gluten and dairy food can be your first enemy, okay, to treat these children or people or adults. So we have to eliminate these foods, because sugar will trigger huge hyperactivity. If the child is already hyperactive, when you give him sugar, it's going to explode. And then after the sugar's effect goes away, he's going to drop like falling from a high-rise building. So we have to explain this to the parents. Now, when I go a bit to my remedies, I mean, this is an example. I have only a short time of discussion here, but I have a child. She is 12 years old, and she came to me with skin issues. And then when I started talking to her, she is maybe on the edge of being gifted or genius or something like that. But everything perfect. She wants everything perfect. She's very competitive. She's not going out for recess in school. She's staying in the class and doing homework and keeps studying. And you know, she comes home and she's very tired. And eventually she has all kind of anxieties, but it also expressed itself in the skin. So for me, that was the Nux vomica. Now I'm talking about phosphorus. They are the sweetest people. Phosphorus. That's what I believe. I treated so many adults and children with phosphorus that you want this child to be your child, right? I mean, we all love our child, but you know, when you have a phosphorus child and say, oh, he's so sweet, so sympathetic, empathetic to the world, always is troublesome about what's going on around him with animals and nature and stuff like that. And it gets into the mind that, you know, it cannot be lively, you know, it cannot be, his energies are not out there, and it cannot focus and things that maybe needs to focus because his mind is away thinking about other things. La caninum, I spoke about this, and then we have the calc family. Oh, I had a lot of fun with calc. I'm talking about, you have to explore about babies and children, even if it's a teenager. Go back in history and ask the parents, how was the development, right? I mean, was any delays, the fontanelles maybe didn't close on time, or the teething or sitting, walking, any delays in the development can give you an idea about a mineral, and I can give you an idea about the calc. I mean, and when it comes to you with mind issues, look for some concerns, look for being attached to something and scared about something, right? So look for that. And I really had success with calc. Staphylococcus aureus, I had a very interesting case of kind of teenager to adulthood lady that in the past, she used to have many issues in the families. She left the family, she lives on her own, but these issues are chasing her. And she never talks about these things. But she came to me because of a skin problem. And then when you start talking and seeing, in many cases, you can see who the person is. So that child it's not anymore a child, it's a person. And we have to treat him, as Hahnemann told us, is holistically. We have to take care of the entire mind, the entire symptoms, and Staphylococcus aureus solved the case. It was not you know, an easy case, and it took some time. And I went for even dilution of water. She was aggravated at some point, and we started doing dilutions with water until we find the right dilution and the right even timing. If I remember correctly, there was a timing issue of the day. She got better or worse, and eventually she got clear. I got some Natrum muriaticum children, not too many. And you have to find them because it can confuse sometimes between calc, unless calc is really very fearful, but it could confuse me with natrum about their isolation, about the sadness, and the company or the you know, the consolation if the parents come to console them. This is something important to keep in mind. Some kids don't like that. Some kids will close themselves in the room and being older in the room with the cell phones and so on. And we talk about agar. That was a very successful, very nice case. Now, when we talk about skin, skin, it's a big deal because skin is the biggest organ in the body, and it's a major issue with skin diseases. Skin diseases don't belong to basically skin. They manifest in the skin. but the problem is within the body. The body says, enough, it's enough. I have to do something with these toxins and I need to get it out. So sometimes we will get it in diarrhea, sometimes we'll get it in constipation, and a lot today we have so many skin issues that basically are related to mindset and the gut. Now, some babies, you don't know, you cannot ask the baby because he will not answer. So you have to go with what you have. I had a baby of about 4 months old or something like that. And the mother, she is very anxious by definition. And she didn't want to start the treatment. She started with the baby first. And the baby does not sleep at night. He wakes up and they sleep together. And the baby has a rash. And the baby stopped eating breastfeeding, so she will give any other foods to the baby that young age. Eventually, I didn't have too much to go with, but I gave him sulfur. It took a few months, and he was completely clear. And for the sleepiness, because he was waking up at night, I gave him a higher dose of sulfur, and that solved the problem. He was sleeping all night through. So you have to, in the skin, you have to look in the hygiene. And also, Hanuman told us in the organon, do not apply topical substances. I explained this to the parents. It can get complications because when you apply some topicals, the picture on the skin, it will change. If it was yellow, now it will be red or whatever. If that was an oozing, now there is no more oozing. But oozing is part of the disease that homeopaths we need to see. So you have to do good to and tell the parents, do not apply any topicals. So when we get to the connection between skin and nutrition, we have to we know this today. It's not a secret anymore. It was hidden long time ago, but now we all know. We have the GMO issue, genetically modified organism, here in North America. I don't know other countries. Europe, I think it's a bit better. I was in Spain, and people were eating, they eat bread all day long, and I don't see or I don't hear about so many cases as we have here. So I'm talking about the gluten, right? I mean, when we come with skin here in North America, I recommend to remove the gluten from the diet. I recommend, of course, the sugars. If it's teenagers, the smoking, it's a big deal. And try to convince them, at least for a while, to remove the smoking. We eat in North America, we eat a lot out, okay? And then we get a lot of omega-6. Omega-6, it's needed in the body in certain amount because the body, the liver will create omega-3 out of the omega-6. Now, but too much of omega-6 creates inflammation. And when there is a skin issue or any disease, any pain, you have inflammation. If somebody thinks there is no inflammation, he is wrong. You have inflammation. You may not see that as something swallowing, but on the level of the cellular levels, you will see, there is inflammation and we need to drop it. So even babies like from months old and older, they can take, it's not they should, I'm saying I'll take it back, I'm saying they can. It's not an issue to give them omega-3 fish oil and omega vitamin C, D, and good vitamins that will enhance their vitality. We know that homeopathy should do the job, and I do believe in homeopathy should do the job. But you can, you can hammer your finger. I'll give you arnica, but if you keep hammering your finger, better remove the hammer. Okay, so that keep in mind that if there are bad things at the moment that you see somebody, better to remove this for a while and explain the reasons, and then come back to the lifestyle if needed. Now, I brought here a few cases, eczema and psoriasis in a moment. Sometimes, it's a baby and the mother tells you what it tells you, and there is not much to that. As much as you dig in, they are still too young to demonstrate character. So I have to go sometimes with a clinical, and then I will look, okay? I will look for the most prominent remedy that can fit the cases. So I use graphite a lot. I use sulfurs, depends. I use only once petroleum and mercury. It's something that mercury I didn't see in babies, but I saw in teenagers. So mercury, you will find mercury. It's something you say, oh, this is really bad. Something is really bad there. It's mercury, a lot of destruction, okay, in the mindset, and also can be physically destruction. I have lycopodium given to a child with skin issues, but also the key in that child was it was bleeding from the nose, and it did not go away. So I decided to go lycopodium, and a few days after, the child was good with the nose bleeding, and right now he doesn't need to take it. Now, when we go to rust, I love rust. I mean, but you have to see the itchiness, you have to see the pain, how characterized for cases of the skin. Now, sepia, I have a child that she is also in high school, and she is fascinating as far as academic, very stressful, and the menses of the child are really all over, and all kind of symptoms related to the menses. So I have to go with sepia to alleviate basically the hormonal situation, and because skin issues can be related to hormonal as well. So sometimes we are lucky that we can get many symptoms together in one basket and find one remedy. Okay, we'll move on. And well, I spoke about all these remedies. Here is for those that you still don't know Zomeo. So here is a snapshot of how the results will look on the rubrics in Zomeo. I mean, just a few words about Zomeo. I mean, it's an amazing software, very easy to operate. It took me a few days to learn Zomeo, and it runs very quickly. You can find your rubrics and your remedies, but that's for a different story. So you can see general rubrics about eczema, itchiness, and eruption, and you find all the remedies here. Once in Zomeo, you click on the remedy, you get information in front of you. That will be for different time. If somebody wants to contact me about Zomeo, I'll welcome the call, and I explain how to operate very quickly Zomeo. Then we have psoriasis, and somewhere I have an article saying that a study that low vitamin D can create psoriasis. So you see, you can give homeopathic remedy, but if the person doesn't go out, if the person doesn't see sunshine, lives in Toronto like me, that there's no plenty of sunshine, and there is, it's cold and so on, and is low in vitamin D, you need to be mindful of that. Again, the prominent remedy for psoriasis is phosphorus, and then we have mercury, very destructive, and depends on the psoriasis. If there is some discharge, that can be a graph, and so on and so forth. Now, I want to just emphasize a bit and stay here in this slide for a moment, because I had arsenicum for children. And arsenicum for children, you can have the arsenicum that is very, very stressed, and as we all know about arsenicum, but I also have arsenicum that they were not too stressed. I mean, there is stress, there is anxieties, but it's not shown very clearly to the surface. But the key in arsenicum, what I like, it was burning. So when you see something burning, you need to think about arsenicum. May not be the right remedy, but I mean, it can be the start to thinking. But suddenly it says, I'm taking a shower with very hot water because I like hot water and I feel fantastic. I say, okay, that's arsenicum. Okay, so I mean, just to keep in mind, arsenicum likes hot water, but it feels like it's burning. As I said, phosphorus, it's related to some discoloration. We have to look into the color, the patches that are in the skin. Lycopodium, it's a bleeding situation, and it's related to liver. So liver issues will affect the skin. It will show up in the skin. Mercury is destruction, and graph. I mean, before I didn't say that, but we have graph, which is a very, very sticky discharge. And when you tell the parents, ask the parents or ask the child, I mean, what's the discharge? They will tell you it's like a glue. When they tell you it's like a glue, go ahead. Now, petroleum, to differentiate from graphite, the discharge is water. Okay, so that can be a nice difference between one remedy or the other. And again, for psoriasis, I just put a few rubrics here that just to give us an idea. Sulfur always will come. So I'm, sometimes I try to not to look in sulfur so it doesn't block my mind from thinking about other remedies. But there are a nice group of remedies that you can think about. The calc, like the fearness. You can talk about arsenicum, about the anxiety. Mercury, it's even more destruction in the mind. Okay, it's more on the syphilitic side. I mean, it's hard to see a child. I have one child. It's on the edge of kind of syphilitic mind, syphilitic constitution. Very, very destructive. Okay, so that's it. That was my presentation. Happy children is happy life. We should keep them always smiling. And thank you so much. And I wish you all well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marcelo. Enlightened us with this wonderful session that you have. And thank you, everybody. Now it's time for the big prize. And that is the lucky dip that we have. Let's see who's that one lucky person to win Zomeo software. Marcelo, over to you. You can announce the winner. Here we go.
Okay, hold on a second. I need to find it.
Yeah, okay, it's right here. Okay, you'll see the name on the screen. You can see the wheel, right?
I see the wheel. I see the wheel. I see the wheel. I don't see a name.
It's right there. Okay.
Okay. Mandeep Kaur from USA. Congratulations.
All right. Okay. We give her a round of applause. There you go. So it's Dr. Mandeep Kaur from the US. She just purchased Zomeo recently. I guess it was last week. So last week we had Dr. Sushil Gupta from Australia. This week we've got Dr. Mandeep Kaur from the USA. And there are 9 more prizes to be given out. There are 9 more softwares to be won. You could be one of them. If you have a Zomeo, you could always upgrade it as well and be part of the lucky dip. Okay. And not to forget the earlier session that we had, a questionnaire and the fun activity. I'll just announce the name of the winners. We have Michelle with 2 prizes. That's 1 application and a webinar that she's won. Richard Derry, one of the oldest clients that we've got for many years. He's won 2 prizes. That's an app and a webinar. Dr. Mansoor, Dr. Larissa, Paul, Bowman, Anna, and Petronella, and Marlis. These are the winners for the engaging activity that we had. I will see all of you next week. And that is on the if you see the dates, that's on the 28th of December, same time. Okay, and not to forget, there's a 40% off going on all our products. We've got a great team of doctors that can also give you a demo available. All right, we've got Dr. Sneha here with us, who also takes care of the international market to help you with the demos as well. All right, I hope, we had a lot of fun today, and, it's Christmas season. It's time to de-stress. It's that time of the year. Yes, you're getting me absolutely right. It is that time of the year where, we all have that smirk, that smile on our face. We all want to work 1 hour less every day just to make sure we can de-stress and do a lot of other stuff. So Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. This is from Mind Technologies Private Limited, from our entire team and from Dr. Jawar Shah. We wish you a really Merry Christmas, and I won't say Happy New Year because I'll definitely meet you all before that. So a small request. Thanks to Marcelo Garzon today for enlightening us with this wonderful session. Thank you, Marcelo. All right. Thank you, everyone. Cheers. Have fun. Spread the word. Do tell everybody. Yes, it's 40% off on all our products. Participate. Just buy something worth $250. And you could be the next Mandeep Kaur, or you could be the next Sushil Gupta to win a Zomeo. All right, there you go. Thank you. Have fun. Have a great day ahead. Cheers.